Good evening, everyone. That wonderful tune is the Hop Ground. Composer, it's traditional. The dance is Hop Ground. Choreography is found in Preston, 1794. The band is Alchemy. The musicians are Rachel Bell, Eric Martin, and our guest tonight, Karen Axelrod. The CD is Turning of the Hour. It's a fabulous CD. And where to buy it? RachelBellMusic.com. We are posting the information on the chat box, in the chat box. I am Darlene Hamilton, and we are the Historical Tea and Dance Society. On our team, we have Lindsay Verbal assisting with the program. Lindsay. She handles media and our attendee questions and all sorts of things in the background. So we always like giving her a shout out. And we have Reed Wilson monitoring Zoom for questions and posting all those credits and other things you need to know. And Larry Hansen monitoring Facebook live chat for questions and posting the same. You want to make sure you know where those chat boxes are, because those are an important part of this conversation. First of all, you'll find a lot of links and other information in there from our guest, and you'll see a lot of really interesting chat going on as well. So you definitely want to know what that chat box is. The other thing that's important about the chat box is that we post the link to the after talk, and the after talk tonight is going to be lots of fun. If you've signed up via our link and registered, you already have that after talk link to go to. But if you have not, whether you're watching on Facebook Live or whether you're watching in Zoom, you can come to the after talk. And of course, we're going to give our every week shout out thank you to Karen Axelrod and friends for her concert every Tuesday live on Facebook. We just love it so much. And yeah, I'm thrilled that we finally have Karen with us. So let me go into a bio on our guest. Karen Axelrod left the classical musical world behind over 35 years ago and now plays piano and accordion with many bands for traditional dance events and concerts. Her bands include Alchemy with Eric Martin and Rachel Bell, Foxfire with Darren Douglas, Peregrine Road with Rachel Bell, Third String Trio with Kate Barnes and Aldo Fabrizi, and Old World Charm School with Susan Kevra and Rachel Bell. Karen also plays accordion for Orion Longsword Team. She has been on staff at many dance weeks and weekends, including Pinewoods, Algonts, Buffalo Gap, Berea, John C. Campbell Folk School, and Bay Area Country Dance Society, BACDS camps. And for the first time ever, we are opening up the balcony. And if you don't know what that means, you have not been reading the chat box in Karen's pandemic hit show, In the Moment, the concert series that truly brings us all together every Tuesday night. Please welcome Karen Axelrod. We're so happy to have you with us. She's there someplace. There she is.
I'm here. Hi.
Hi. Well, I know there's a lot to talk about, so let's just jump right into thing number one.
Okay.
Young Karen.
Young Karen, that's me. It always starts with the early years, doesn't it? So, I started playing piano at age 5, but I was around the piano long before. This is me before I was professionally playing. My mom was a classical pianist. She was very good. And actually, I guess she wanted to play for English country dancing too, because I often heard her practicing Gary Rudman's tune, The Good Man of Cambridge. Not really. She was playing the Mozart Turkish March. She didn't really want to play for English country dancing, but she did play that a lot. So she was very musical. My dad, on the other hand, played the flute. He studied, had flute lessons, and his teacher agreed to pass him from the flute class if he agreed never to touch another musical instrument. So he didn't. He would sometimes sing. Well, he would sing. So he wasn't musical, but he did have a love of music. So I I had a lot of music and dance enrichment growing up. I used to give dance performances um, in my living room to my parents and my sisters. I would get in a leotard and tights. This is very young Karen. And I think my sister Miriam took flashlights and colored cellophane. So she made lighting. And then I would put on the Nutcracker, I would put on Tchaikovsky, and my mom and dad and my sisters would have to sit there while I danced around the living room. So I was always interested in dance. And as you can see, even then I liked attention. So that was my early dancing years. By junior high, I was active playing for junior high musicals, and I was part of a folk dance group in junior high. So I had these crunchy granola friends in Newton, Massachusetts, where I did some growing up. And we had a weekly folk dance in Newton at a church. We also went in Sunday nights to MIT in Cambridge to dance with the older, cool college kids. And that's where we did a lot of complicated Balkan dances. And then in the summer, we would take the tea into Copley Square, where there was a dance that Connie and Marianne Taylor ran. And we would go to that, our little group of junior high friends. We would go to that and we would deign to dance with those beginners because they were doing very simple dances and we had become dance snobs. Um, so, um, so my folk dance group, um, we actually did some English dancing in it because we had two records. One of them was Hole in the Wall, and the other was Black Nag. Um, so this is a little trip down memory lane of the recording that I used to dance to for Black Nag when I was in junior high. There, I won't make you listen to the whole thing, but for all of you who started out as folk dancers, I'm sure that record brings it all back, right? So when I knew I was going to be on this show, I went down into the basement and found my two nostalgia boxes. They were labeled nostalgia, and they were stuff from my younger years. Um, and I found some interesting stuff, including some compositions that I wrote. I didn't even remember that I wrote musical compositions, but I guess I did. So I found a really dippy, dorky jig. I won't play that for you. I found a two-part invention that sort of sounds Bach-like, and it's actually not bad. So if we have time at the end, which we won't, I'll play it then, or maybe in the after chat, or maybe on In the Moment, or sometime you'll hear it. But that one wasn't so bad. But then apparently I composed for an English class an opera, a short opera. It was called The Veldt. It was based on a Ray Bradbury science fiction story. And I guess for an English project, I chose to turn this story into a short opera. So I want to first read a little thing that I wrote to my teacher when I handed in this little opera. I wrote, "The opera is corny. By this, I mean it's not supposed to be a good opera. If it were, then I'd be famous." That's me. So let me play, I'm going to play it for you, and I'm going to sing the part of, I think it's Georgine. There was Georgine and Ernestine, or Georgette and Ernestine. Let me see. I wrote out, no, Charles and Ernestine. So I'm singing the part of Ernestine. There. I'll sing it down an octave. Ernestine had a low voice. You never really listen. You don't know what you're missing. Your nose is in the paper. All the time I talk. Cannot you pay attention? Is it really that hard? I have some words to share, but you do not care. Oh, Charles, do you love me? How difficult can it be? At the beginning we got along. What can it be that is wrong? What an amazing opera, really. So that was one thing I found in my nostalgia box. And then it gets even a little better. I found a waltz I wrote. And I found little notes I wrote on it. It says, definitely not for piano. Then in parentheses, for recorder and guitar. Then at the bottom in parentheses, I wrote, the guitar chords should be lightly, quietly picked, not strummed. So I'll play it for you on piano now, even though it said definitely not for piano. And I guess I had strong feelings then about instrumentation. So that's my waltz, and I don't see any of you choreographers clamoring the way you do when I play like really cool tunes on in the moment, like new tunes, and you're all saying like, I want to write a dance to that. Well, no one wants to write a dance to it because it's actually not that good. But it was interesting. What I found interesting, two things, is that going through the nostalgia box, I realized, oh my gosh, I was into music and dance big time. And the other interesting thing I found out is that I've always been obsessed with slow minor waltzes. Nothing's changed. So that's my thing one.
Great. That was great. Okay. Thing number two. My early Pinewoods years.
My early Pinewoods years. I considered them my crew years at Pinewoods. So I was in the Boston area after college. I was doing a lot of Contra dance. And in 1982, I applied to work at Pinewoods on the crew as cook. And I interviewed with Jacqueline Schwab. I remember we had our interview right outside NEFA in a, what's it called? A place where you sit, grass. A field. So I got the job as cook. And here's me in the kitchen that first year. And then our our kitchen crew at our last day, Labor Day, decided we needed to have a little adventure. It was really hot. So we did a little streaking adventure down to Long Pond and then came back up. And Barbara Morrison was on grounds crew that year. Justin, her son, was there. He was 7 years old, and we had a really good connection. So then we all left camp after Labor Day, and I received this note from him. Dear Karen, I love you, the best cook in the universe. I miss you. When do you have time so I can visit you? Someday maybe you can visit me. Love, lots. Justin. So Justin was 7 then. That was in 1982. So I think he's probably 46 now. And what I love about that is that it's, I see Justin at Morris events and at Pinewoods and at English dance events. Barbara lives a mile from me in Brattleboro. She moved here a while ago, then I moved here. So there's still this connection with these people in the 80s. And so Justin, yes, you can come. Maybe I can go visit him. Yeah, he lives, I think, a few hours north of me. So maybe I will go visit him. Anyway, it's just nice to have the connections that started there and continue on. My love of English country dancing started in 1982. I had been doing a lot of Contra, and I became a convert. Brad Saylor, who I was dating at the time, knew I played piano, and he got me started on playing for English dancing by offering me an opportunity to play for an English dance. I think it was with Vince O'Donnell. So I think we have a photo of me and Brad. That is not our child, as far as I know. No, that is Peter Kruskal. So I thank Brad for getting me into playing for the dancing. So I was on crew for about 9 years in various positions, cook, office manager, volunteer, grounds volunteer. So we worked hard, but we got to dance at night, we got to take classes. So I was immersed in it for 9 years, 9 summers. And I got to be with all the great English dance scholars in the US and some that came over from England. I was exposed to all sorts of different music, and I was taking music workshops with Marshall Barron, a violinist from Connecticut, Laurie Andrus, piano accordion player from Seattle, Kate Barnes, Jacqueline Schwab. So I was taking these music classes, and I just, all that exposure to classes and also to different callers calling English. We did a lot more traditional dances then. And at that time in the early 80s, that was before Alistair Fraser was so famous. And he would come to camp to Scottish Week and English Scottish Week. And this was before he needed, wanted to make more than $100 a week. So those were the early days when Alistair was at camp too. So, along with English dance, there was Scottish and international, early music week. I was exposed to so much. So with all that exposure to all this different English music from different bands and different individuals, I really settled on Bare Necessities as my favorite band. I loved their music. I still love their music. I I always wanted to be Jacqueline. I wanted to play like Jacqueline. I wanted to play with Bare Necessities. They were my heroes, and they have all influenced me tremendously in terms of my playing for English country dancing. So that they will forever remain a huge influence on me. So I consider these Pinewoods crew years sort of merged with in the 80s when I was living in Boston, because I was English dancing every Wednesday, and we would have a Friday experience dance. And it was all the same people that I was close to at Pinewoods that I was close to at the Wednesday night English dance. So it was sort of, I felt like the English dance world in Boston was my home, and still feels like my home base, even though we're not, I mean, certainly now we're not dancing Wednesday nights, but we're not together, even in non-pandemic times. We've all moved to different places, but my best friends from when I was in my 20s are still some of my best friends now. And yeah, there are some best friends who are still close to me. That's in C sharp. And so this is a little past the 80s, once I had my daughter. This is Arthur and Helena Cornelius, both great callers in the Boston scene. And after I had kids, I would bring my kids to camp. And I was thrilled for them to have dance and music be part of their life. And Neil, my son, ended up having a relationship to Ogon's dance camp. And Rose ended up working at Pinewoods and turned into a beautiful English country dancer. So just a little bit back to the 80s, before I had that daughter of mine. The Boston scene was vibrant, but I also didn't realize that even though I was at camp, seeing there were people coming from other places, I thought the Boston dance scene was the best English dancing, and the right way to do it. How there's the joke of, that's not how we do it in Boston. Well, I really thought that was true. That's not how we do it in Boston. So I was a Boston snob, and I was raised dancing primarily with Helena Cornelius as my caller and teacher, and she taught a lot of style. And I'm not a great dancer, but I still carry knowledge of that with me. And I think that really helps me in how I play for the dancing too. I remember Helena saying numerous times at dances, if you can't dance to the music, you might as well go bowling. So as my crew years were, in the late 80s, I started dating Bob Adams, and Bob and I decided to get married. When I told a crew friend that I was getting married in 1990, she said to him, "Do you know she's not available summers?" And he did know that. He dealt with it. So these early crew years were important to me, and I think Pinewoods is still a very important place, but those 9 years of being on crew and being so active in the Boston dance community really helped form who I am as a dancer and musician.
That's great. It's fabulous. We're getting a lot of comments on all the photographs. People are loving it.
Oh,
all right. Thing number 3, comedy improv.
Comedy improv. comedy improv is it's a form of theater where the performance is spontaneous. It's not planned, and it's unscripted. It's just created by the performers in the moment. I took classes in it when I lived in Northampton in the 90s, and I formed a performing troupe, and the troupe, we named it the Villa Gidiots. So here we are getting ready for a show. So we did a lot of performing. I just want to talk a tiny bit about Elaine, May, and Mike Nichols, because I have a little video I want to show you of them. They were a great improvisatory duo. So I want to show you a little bit of a sketch that they did. It was all based on improvisation. Probably in what they did here, they had done it a few times, but it was all based on just doing stuff in the moment, and came out of a sketch that was, I'm sure, improvised totally. So this is a little clip. You can see it on YouTube. I think it's called, if you just Google telephone operator, Elaine, May, and Mike Nichols.
Information.
Operator, will you give me the number, please, of George Kaplan, Kaplan, at 4411 Huguenot Walloon Drive?
That is George Kaplan.
Yes, that's right.
That is Kaplan.
Yes.
That is K as in knife, A as in aardvark, P as in pneumonia, L as in luscious, A as in aardvark. Once again, N as in Newell Post Kaplan.
I think so, yes.
Just one moment, sir. I will look that number up for you.
Thank you very much. Operator, if you could try to hurry.
I am looking the number up for you.
It's just that I'm terribly late here, and I'm hoping...
That number is listed in your directory.
Operator, there is no directory here, I swear to God.
Will you please take a pencil and write
Yes.
the number down?
I promise, I definitely will, yes.
The number is audible fired.
Hello, operator, hello.
Information.
Operator.
Information.
Operator, you just collected my dime.
Information is a free service, sir.
Yeah,
When you hang up your dime, will be returned to you.
Listen, I know it's usually a free service. See, the thing is, in this case, I heard the dime, hit all those other dimes.
So, they're making it all up. So I wanted to talk about some of the principles of comedy improv, because for me, these principles relate so much to what I do as a musician and what I do playing for dancing. So first of all, comedy improv is, first and foremost, not a solo activity. It's not stand-up comedy. You have a scene partner. You have an ensemble that you're working with. And it's, for me, that's the fundamental thing that I love about playing for music, playing for dancing, is that I'm playing with my bandmates in an ensemble. I don't love playing solo. It seems like solo playing is sort of self-reflective and inward and alone for me. And I just love the connection. So another principle, guiding principle in comedy improv is the concept yes and, which is acceptance or agreement, and then building on it. So two partners in a scene, they agree on what the scene is and build on it. And that's the same for me playing with my musical colleagues and bandmates. If a bandmate is playing something flowing and beautiful and passionate, I'm not going to go up high on the piano and start doing like tinkly, stupid things. We agree on something and then we add to it. Another part of comedy improv is you're in the moment. It's spontaneous, no planning, no arranging. And that's how it is at a English country dance for me, or a Contra dance, any place. We haven't decided what we're going to do. And it's, if we're making a recording, there might be arrangement, but not at a dance. Another key thing is to listen. You have a scene partner in comedy improv. You listen to them. That's where you get your ideas of what to feed on. Same thing with music. I'm not playing with my ensemble thinking, oh, what should I do next? I'm listening because they feed me ideas of what to do next. In comedy improv, teamwork is crucial. You're trying to make your scene partner look good. It's about trust. The group is bigger than the individuals. It's not about ego. It's like, oh, same thing with ensemble work. It's, what I love about playing with people. I'm trusting my bandmates. They're there for me. Hopefully I am there for them. And we make something bigger than our individual ego-driven somethings. In comedy improv, we tell a story in a scene. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. At an English dance, same thing. We start a certain way. There might be a passion graph or an arc of what we do with the tune, and then there's an end. It might end big, it might end quiet. We don't know, but we definitely have a story in mind, instead of like, okay, the first time it'll be like this, and then random other times it will be random other feelings. There's an arc to it. And then lastly, with comedy improv, you take risks and there aren't mistakes and you don't have judgment. It's like, this is a lesson for life, not just comedy improv or playing music or dancing. It's what I aspire to, is to take risks, and then when I screw up, not judge myself and just move on from it. So I wanted to show a video. It's not comedy improv, but it does incorporate something that's crucial in comedy improv and in playing music and in playing for dancing, the skill of listening. So I have this skill that's not marketable, that hasn't earned me any money, where I can talk with someone if they're saying something, even if I haven't heard what they're saying. Sam Bartlett was aware of this, and he put it in a stuntology book. He named it Simulalia. So this is a video clip from Brasstown many years ago, where I am doing Simulalia with Sam.
Hello, we're going to do a stunt from page 238, the stuntology book Simulalia with Karen. Karen, let's talk about your stunt. Let's talk about the technique of this stunt, Simulalia. Is this the stunt where you talk the same as me when, even though I can talk very fast, and you say all the words that I'm going to say, and even if you don't know the story I'm going to tell, like when I was a child in Nova Scotia and I went with my father, we were going over hills, many hills, and we came to an ocean and there was a whale out, and my father swam out to the whale, and then a shark came toward the whale, and then it ended.
So, it seems like a stupid thing, and it's certainly annoying to do that to people, but there actually is I do feel like I apply that to when I'm in an ensemble, because I sort of know where my bandmates are going. I'm listening for what they're going to do, and I'm just keyed into it the way I was keyed into Sam. So that's my quick survey of comedy improv.
That was great. I love the question. What brain part controls that?
What brain part?
Yeah.
No brain part. You mean controls being able to do that? I think it's not in the brain.
Okay, I can believe that. All right, thing number 4, playing for the dancers.
Playing for the dancers. Oh, you guys are dancing? We're not just giving a concert? The ECD tunes are beautiful and they are wonderful for concerts, but the thing I really love doing is playing for the dancers. And we're at the service of the dancers and the caller. And there are some communities that might need an unadorned, simple tune. There are some particular dances that might need it played really straight, at least the first few times. But whatever is needed, it's my job to help make it happen on the dance floor. I owe it to the dancers, I owe it to the caller. So that's always on my mind. And also because piano is so big and so large, I sometimes feel like, it's not that piano is in charge and it's the most important instrument. It's not at all. But because it is loud and big, I can really destroy the danceability of any dance for an entire room of dancers. And I hope I don't do that, but I have the power to do that. So it's scary. And I want to not do that to any of you. And this playing for the dance gives me a connection not just with my ensemble mates, but with the dancers. I play for dancers, they're responding to me, and also with the caller. I'm, responding to what the caller needs and says and trying to feel what the caller might need, even if they don't say it. So it's always this connection, but it's still all about being in service of the dance, which is not to say I always am. I mean, there are times when I get carried away in bands and we're doing stuff that's not perfect for the dancing, but it happens. And I speed up all the time, and that happens, but hopefully it doesn't speed up to the point where it's undanceable. So I wanted to look at a few dance moves and show you how I play for that choreography. So this is just like a little quick course in some of the things I do. And it's hard to do it solo, but I'll do it solo because Maisie doesn't play any instrument yet. So step and honor. A step and honor has a pause. You step and honor. Step and honor. So Shrewsbury Lasses. Step and honor, and then it's a 2-hand turn. So with the step and honor, I put a pause in between the step and the honor, whatever. You know what I mean? And then when it's the 2-hand turn, that's smooth. There's not a pause in it. Setting is light and up. It usually is just, set right, set left. There's not like measures and measures of setting. So in Christina, there's setting, set and turn single, and then something smooth. So I'll play a little bit of Christina. There's the turn. trying to give lift and up and be lighter. For the turn single, smoother, and then for the hand turns, smooth again with a longer phrase. Oh, up a double and back. That's an energetic figure in my book. So I'm not going to play it all staccato-y. I'm not going to get softer. I want a lot of force for it. So Black Nag starts with up a double and back, and then that again, I think. Etc. So just, I make it big. And there are ways, you know, I might play to that by crescendo, or I might do it chordally, do something with the chords that make it big, but I'm not gonna like turn that into a smooth or wimpy thing, because the dancers need energy for that. Slipping circles and skipping, you need to get up for that. And usually you need to get up on the upbeat before, because you're not coming down on the slipping circle or the skip. You really need the upbeat before to get up, which is hard to do sort of solo piano, but I'll try and show you. And then, so I'm going to use Fandango for this. And what I love is the contrast between a slipping circle and then a smooth dance walk. So the second B1 is slipping circle, followed by B2, where the actives lead up and cast to the middle and do their cloverleaf thingies. So I'm going to play a B1 into a B2. So you can hear the slipping circle into the smoother part of the dance. Fandango. As you can see, Fandango is not something that I like to play solo. The other fun part of Fandango is towards the end of the dance, when you're doing the partner turn and then the, you know, that corner. This is why I'm not a caller. That corner over there, and then your partner, and then that corner over there. And then you come back to your partner for a two-hand turn. And then at the very end of that section, there are two measures where you start skipping into the hey, lady goes somewhere and man goes the other way. So it's fun to give the skip music a little bit before the start of when the heys are, whatever those are called. But at the end of that two-hand turn that you're doing with your partner. So I'll just play a little bit of that. So this is the last two measures of A. It's an A into a B section. Like that. So it's just, you know, I lead up to that part where then they start skipping and continue skipping. So there's, you know, the contrast is really fun to do with our instruments. And then the other thing is long phrases followed by something really short, or short phrases followed by something long. So I'm going to look at Mr. Jersey's Memorial for that, because in Boston, the way we used to do it is at the end of the A section with the the turns and the hay and turns in the hay. And then at the beginning of the B section, there's a circle 4. Helena Cornelius taught that we had a moment of pause at the end of that circle. So it wasn't just a circle and then going right into the, I think it might be a half figure 8. We had a moment of pause there. So I'm used to playing that moment of pause, even though now whenever we go places and I play for Mr. Jersey's Memorial, no one does that anymore, but I'll play you the pause. So that is going from an A to the beginning of the B section. And now I'm going to it. So there, it was at the end of that. And if we didn't have that moment of pause, which Brad Saylor helped track down, it was in Pat Shaw's notes, a moment of pause there, then I would want to play through. Because we're still dancing the circle into the half figure 8. But because I'm stuck on Boston in the 80s and what Helena said, that's what I still do at a dance. So that's sort of the choreography part of it. And we're always, I want to provide drive and lift and, help lift people up. I don't want to retard at the very end of the dance because the dancers are still dance walking. If I retard too much, you'll fall over because you can't walk that slowly. So I'll only put in a very slight retard. And I take my cue from the dancers and from the caller because different dances are done differently all across the United States and England and Europe. So in New York, they used to skip on Kelstern Gardens. In Boston, we never skip in Kelstern Gardens. So if I was somewhere and they're skipping on the A part, I'll play the skipping. And under my breath, I'll say, that's not how we do it in Boston. But, so there are things like that where you just, even if you think you know the dance, you want to look at the floor and feel what's happening and play to that. And so I try and do that and listen to the caller and look at the caller and take cues from the caller. But it's a give and take. There are times the dancers will have to respond to something I'm doing too. I might play something a certain way. I might play it, a jazzy section, and then people will be jazzy on the floor or something. But it's overall, I want to support the dancers, unless they're not doing it the right way, they have to do it how we did it in Boston. Anyway, it's all about watching and listening to the floor. So I could probably go on for hours and hours, and that's what the after talk is for.
And this might be a good place to mention you have a workshop coming up that works with people to learn more about doing that, right?
I do. Joanna Reiner and I are co-leading a workshop on working with the band. I think it's called. Clara Takamori is sponsoring it, is running it for us. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. And that's open to callers, musicians, dancers.
And we will be posting a link to that. So I know Claire posted one in Zoom, but we'll make sure you all have that link.
Great. I'll
Okay.
need that link.
Okay, well, you thought she was fooling, but you kind of knew it was coming, didn't you? Thing number 5.
Food. Yes. Food nourishes me. I love food. It provides energy for me. I think about it all the time. I can't live without it. I mean, I know you guys can't live without it too, but I really love it. And I also view community and connection and what we all have as one of the main things that nourishes me. So I wanted to go a quick run through of some of the things in our ECD community that feed me. So first of all, there are close connections to bandmates. So I have a bunch of photos and a few videos. So there's Alchemy, having a serious rehearsal. There's Alchemy. Eric is always very serious. Peregrine Road. That's Rachel Bell and me. Darren Douglas, Foxfire. We're in Italy. We're in Brasstown there. We always walk around and sometimes we need a bathroom. Old World Charm School, on our way to Ashokan, Susan Kevra, Rachel Bell, and me. Third String Trio, and Ann Thomas. And then Anna Patton with the clarinet, Shira on the fiddle, and then Brad and Andrew Shaw in the back, and then Audrey Knuth, who I also love to play with. Dave Langford and Anna Patton, and David Millstone calling, and this is at the beautiful Whately Barn in Whately, Massachusetts. Wonderful place to dance to. And then my longsword team, Orion Longsword, another source of important community for me. And now just a few videos to show you that most of my connection is about humor with my bandmates.
Well, why? What's so funny? I don't understand what's so funny.
Sing a song.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. Yeah, so pretty. Da, 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 da. I don't know the
Dinner tonight, we had cornbread and Java sitting on the floor in Phoenix. I don't know where Phoenix is. I'm doing much better this time, aren't I? This is much better.
This is what we do. And then another thing that nourishes me is these close friendships that I've had for years, since my 20s. Laura Sprung and I have been friends since early days. We spent 10 years doing marathons together, a marathon in every state. So we got together a lot. This is our first marathon. And then later on, this is what happened to us after all those marathons. I also have strong connections to dance weekends and places and camps that we travel to. I feel close to organizers and close to dancers that I might see just once a year when I go places. And then there are these generous, amazing hosts. We get to stay with hosts who do so much for us. You know, we get to explore new towns, play in beautiful halls, have long delays in airports. This is Peterborough, beautiful hall in Peterborough, New Hampshire. Brasstown, another beautiful hall. Pinewoods C Sharp Pavilion. Ogontz Family Week. Ogontz, me being very serious with kids at Family Week. I often do this at gigs. Ping pong at New London Assembly. And this often happens when I'm traveling. I just have to do that. So I have a few videos. One is at a host's house. We sometimes have to practice. So I put in a little practice time at our host's house in Delaware. And then at Pinewoods, I put in the auction an item that someone could bid on serving me breakfast in bed. And I demanded a hard-boiled egg, and it had to be peeled. And I ended up with this one morning in my cabin.
Start. Come on, get on with it.
Good morning, Karen. Here is your breakfast. We hope you slept very well. We hope your eggs to your liking. We are honored to be your morning bell. We know we are not worthy to sing for you. We really hope this will do. We come before you in trembling humility. Henceforth all eggs shall be peeled.
Another nourishing point for me is going to places I never would have gone to otherwise. And Ken McFarland actually was instrumental in getting me to places that I never would have been to. And he's the one who made me realize that I liked to travel. So this was not a Ken trip, but that's the Rights of Lichfield in England. And this is Eric and I went up to play in Alaska for Ken and Dennis. Florence, a Ken trip, the dance hall in Florence, Italy. Oh, food, it's tripe. I don't like tripe, but that's what I ordered. And then a chateau that we got to stay in, another Ken trip, and we also got to dance in it. So that, the travel just fills me, but it's also travel with dance friends. It's amazing. Lindsay, I'm going to skip the French dance video. Or you want me to go over? You didn't give me time. No, keep going. All right, go to sleep if you guys want to. All right, so one thing that often when I'm somewhere, I tack on extra travel. So I had gigs in Europe and England, and I have been tacking on hiking on the French Camino de Santiago. And so one night I was staying at an abbey in Conques. And one of the monks loaned me his accordion. So then when all the pilgrims were having dinner together, I started playing a slight version of an andro. It isn't really an andro, but it's a very easy French dance from Brittany. And I started playing it, and people just started spontaneously dancing. So we wanted to show you that little video. So there I was in a country where I barely speak the language, and you guys know I barely speak that language, but I felt this community connection because of the music and the dance. So it just never stops giving. So now the pandemic has illustrated to me even more how important this community is, even more like I didn't already know. At the start of the pandemic, I was just dealing with an empty calendar and lots of time. And so I had this project that I'd wanted to do if I ever had time. So this is my pandemic antidepressant art. These were all made from antidepressants that I had in my stash that I no longer used. And I am not making light of depression or antidepressants. I have had bad episodes of depression. But I have saved all the antidepressants, and this seemed like a good thing to do with them. But it also wasn't going to keep me or the community nourished emotionally to do that. So I, early on in the pandemic, I decided to do a solo virtual concert the same weekend as the Houston set for Spring Dance. So it was a Saturday night. I wanted to do a lot of the dances that would have been done at the dance. And I did it. I played solo, and I hated it. I was miserable. I don't want to play solo. I felt alone. I was nearly crying. I thought, I'm not going to finish the concert. I did. And then as it turned out, a lot of people responded very favorably, that they felt it made for a community. So seeing that made me think, what can I do? So I didn't want to play alone, but I was in touch with a bunch of bandmates and musical colleagues. I said, send me audio of you playing English country dance tunes or waltzes or contras. And I bought a Bose speaker, and I started this Facebook Live show called In the Moment, where I play people's audio clips. I usually don't listen beforehand, and people tune in. I'm sure some of you have been there, and it creates community for me and for all of the people out there chatting about, what they're eating, or if they're going to sit in the balcony, or if the tempo is wrong, that we're taking the tune, or, anything. But it's made for a great, great community. And there are always surprises for me in each show, like tonight. Jeff Spiro sent something in, and then there was fiddle. It's like, what? It's not even Audrey. Once he sent something and there was Audrey in there, but now it was like a fiddler. I didn't even figure out who it was. But so there are always surprises. Sometimes there's things that make me cry, and sometimes there's humor and pranks. So I wanted to share a clip from September. Anna Patton has played live In the Moment a few times from out my window. When it was warm weather, she would come by the window. So she said she was going to come for the end of the show, and she was going to do Fenter Lyric. And she told me to have a kazoo handy, because there would be a time in the moment, a time when she was playing, that I might want the kazoo. So that's as much as I knew. So this is a video of Anna Patton's Fenter Lyric appearance at In the Moment. It was great. So stuff like that happens. The show does feel like it's all about connection and nourishment and community, and I get so much from it. I hope that I give some too, but I get so much from the community in terms of financial help, tips and donations, and emotional help. I receive avocados in the mail. I receive lemons in the mail. I receive baked goods in the mail. I receive chocolate and handmade crafts and cards and emails and love. I just receive so much love from the English dance community, and that connection is what it is all about for me, and I'm grateful for it.
Thank you, Karen. And we're so grateful for you and what you bring to us every week. And you fill our hearts with joy and music, humor, caring. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for, somebody wrote, who would have thought during these times that we would have had such a connection, and just
and a
such
huge
feelings of
thanks
community.
to you and Lindsay and Dan and Reed and Larry. So what a great team. What a connecting thing you do with 5 things.
Thank you. I'm glad you picked Tuesday night. If I do say so. Let me go into some announcements. I know we're running a little late. We have questions that we're going to get to in the after talk. It's going to be really fun. Upcoming events for Karen. On February 28th, there's a Peregrine Road concert. On March 6th, there's a Working with the Band ECD caller and musician workshop. Every Tuesday in the moment live on Facebook. And hey, I didn't know this, but maybe you all did. After the moment, Keith Holmes maintains an accessible index of all Karen's in the Moments concerts in the Houston Area Traditional Dance Society website. So we're posting a link for that. If you want to order merchandise from all these many bands, and there's so many great albums, we're going to post the links for that. If you don't have access to grabbing all these links, we do have a Dropbox that we take the chat. It takes a day usually before it gets up there, and we put it in the Dropbox. And so you can just go there, grab it, and get all the links in one place if you're not able to save the chat. Some of you are able to, but some of you are not. So we wanted to make sure everybody had it. So now the moment that everybody has been waiting for, drum roll. I don't even know, Lindsay doesn't know. What's your favorite dance?
Oh, I answer that now. Mr. Jersey's Memorial. It's my favorite dance and my favorite tune.
It's beautiful. Yes. Good answer. Good answer. Thank you. And I'm not going to ask you if you're a tea drinker, because we all know if we've been watching the show, you're a coffee drinker.
So I do have tea here.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. No, you surprised me.
It's terrible. I hate it.
Well, thank you, Karen, for finally coming on. I know it took a lot of work to do this and to do things back to back. We really appreciate it. People so wanted you to come on. And let me give a shout out to my 5 Things team. Again, thank you, team. Lindsay Verbal in the background, Ree Wilson on Zoom, Larry Hansen on Facebook, along with helpers Kara King and Dan Vilter. And I think you've all heard me say Colin Hume does maintain an accessible index of our web chats. We're going to post the link for that. A big thank you to people who have been sending in donations to the Historical Tea and Dance Society. It's appreciated. There are operating expenses. And hey, like I said on Saturday, if you were watching us, we wanted to do a thing. We know we can't go on forever because eventually we'll be dancing together live. Yay! But we created a commemorative pin. Here it is here because somebody said, hey, we want to see it. So I'm not sure if you can see that very well. Hopefully you can. Anyways, we're posting how you can get one for yourself. If you don't use PayPal or anything else, contact us and we'll let you know how to get one. The After Talk link is being posted. And coming up next Tuesday, we have Alyssa Dodson. I'm very happy to have her. She's a caller, choreographer, organizes dance events, manages the BACDS Heydays, served for more than a decade on the board of CDSS. We'll be able to hear a lot more about that next week. Thursdays, it's tea time at 5 o'clock Pacific. If you just feel like wanting to hang out with a bunch of fun people and friendly people, join us. We're posting a link for that, or a way to get a hold of us for that. And then on Sunday, March 7th, we always have a first Sunday tea social celebration, community celebration. It's our Celtic tea social, and it's gonna be kind of fun, so you might want to join. We're also posting a link for the mailing list. If you want to sign up for that, send us an email. For donations, Karen recommends you donate to 5 Things, the Historical Tea and Dance Society. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Or the Country Dance and Song Society. So we are posting links for that. The closing tune is Portsmouth. It's a traditional tune from the dancing master. The band is Foxfire, musicians Karen Axelrod and Darren Douglas. CD is Winter Oranges, and we're posting how you can get that. So we will see you all in 2 minutes. Bye. Thank you, Karen, so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.